Hey, what is going on, everyone? So, Starry Studio just wrapped up their developer stream revealing their plans for 2025, including 3 new scenarios, a release window for Once Human Mobile, the introduction of new systems and features, and a lot more. So, without further ado, let's just dive into all the details. So, let's start out with the new scenarios, since I know that's probably what you guys care about the most. The developers mentioned that they will be integrating ideas from players that were submitted in the scenario workshop event and giving credit to those players when those scenario ideas are implemented. Now, in the stream, they mentioned the following 3 new scenarios slated to release in Q3 2025. The first one is a PvE scenario codenamed Purification, and it will be focused on players clearing out pollution zones across the map. These pollution zones will have various effects on players, so you'll need to clear them out to get the world back to its original state. Also, players' actions through the scenario will affect its progress and will lead to different endings for the scenario. The next scenario is a PvE scenario, and it is all about deviations. Where you find deviations and how you capture them will be tied to environmental rules, and we're not 100% sure what that exactly means yet, but they claim it will make exploring much more exciting. You will also be able to raise and fuse deviations into different variations in this scenario, but they mention that not only will you be able to fuse deviations with other deviations, but they're exploring the possibility of being able to fuse deviations with other objects. Now, they gave an example of Mr. Wish fusing with a chair, which I'm not really sure what the benefit of that would be, but it definitely sounds interesting to say the least. Now, this deviation scenario isn't just about capturing and raising deviations, but it will actually be focused on battling them. So yes, this has a Pokemon or a Pow World twist on it. You will form a team of deviations and battle them against other players' deviations. Collecting and raising deviations will make them more powerful so that you have a better chance at winning your battles. They will also be hosting a tournament in this scenario where players will be able to compete and try to win the championship. And yes, they will be adding new deviations to this scenario as well, but they mention it's still in pre-development and they are open to ideas about new deviation types, so feel free to submit any ideas that you have for new deviations to the developers and you may end up seeing it in game. Now, the last scenario that they mentioned is a PvP one, and it is codenamed Broken. It is said to have a quote-unquote free and unrestricted PvP environment for players to enjoy. It will be focused on raiding, ambushing, and defending territories as a team or even as a solo player. This scenario will also have randomized mechanics that will offer bonuses during combat. And this one will also have multiple endings with different rewards based on the ending. However, this scenario will only last 10 days so that it can quote-unquote heighten the pace of combat, as the developers put it. This PvP scenario will also have airdrops that contain powerful and rare resources, which can be used to craft something new called super weapons that are not only powerful, but can apparently affect the game world as well. These super weapons can also be dismantled, so I imagine that there will be swappable parts to trigger different effects on them, but that's just my assumption. Now, the battles over these super weapons will also influence the ending of the scenario. This scenario kind of reminds me of a Rust server, however, it's going to be a lot more accelerated since it's only 10 days long. Now, all of these new scenarios will also be tested on early access servers about 2 months before launch, so we'll be able to play them before official release to help the developers fix design issues and bugs for launch. Although it is unclear if these early access servers will have a more limited capacity than the standard server. Starry Studio will also be introducing some new systems and features in 2025, the biggest of which is a new system called Visional Wheels. These Visional Wheels will introduce rounds of new gameplay and combat mechanics into the scenarios, with each round lasting 2 to 3 months. When a new vision arrives after that, the scenario rules will change accordingly. Now, each new vision will also introduce new weapons as well. The first visional wheel that will be released is on January 16th, and it is called Lunar Oracle. In the Lunar Oracle visional wheel, when it is twilight, a blood moon will rise and trigger changes in the game world. This vision will make deviants much stronger, but it will also make players lose sanity quicker. So you'll need to defeat enemies in order to gain sanity back. But there will also be a benefit to having lower HP, because when you have low HP, you will have a larger yield from gathering materials, mining, and looting deviants. Also, when the blood moon rises, it will trigger different events in the game, such as mystical crates spawning in the wilderness. These crates will contain unique morph deviations and red crystals that can be used to craft unique territory decorations. And I mentioned earlier that each new vision will introduce new weapons, so with Lunar Oracle, they will be introducing 3 new weapons. The first one is a power surge crossbow called Terminal Pulse. The second is a weapon called Primal Rage that will allow players to fire reserve ammo under certain conditions at the cost of HP. And the third one is a unique hand grenade called Hazardous Object. Although in the stream, they seem to have shown a pistol on screen for this one, so I'm not too sure why they did that. So to me, this visional wheel system seems to be their solution for kind of fixing the hard servers. I know a lot of people weren't really happy with the way they did the hard servers with the super anomalies, so in my mind, this is their solution for that, and I actually kind of like the way this sounds on paper, but obviously we'll need to play it to really see how it is. Now, in addition to these new scenarios, they also addressed issues with existing scenarios and plans to fix them. For the Way of Winter, they are working on improving endgame content as well as improving Chaos Weaver mechanics. They also plan to design more gameplay elements around the temperature mechanic in the first half of 2025, but they didn't dive into any more details about that. For Evolution's Call, they plan on improving the registration process for Stronghold conquests, as well as adjusting the PvP intensity for each phase. They're also continuously working on server optimizations to have better network stability. And for Prison vs. Clash, they are addressing the one-sided faction wars, cheating, and terrain bugs. Regarding cheating, they are developing a new reporting tool and introducing a new anti-cheat system. They've also identified terrain bugs and are working to fix them. And for one-sided faction wars, they are planning to give the losing faction more opportunities to gain some ground. Starry Studio is also adding some highly requested features into the game in 2025, such as a gender change option coming January 16th, which will automatically convert any cosmetics that you have to the new gender that you choose. They're also adding the option to hide your backpack coming in Q1 2025, and the backpack change one is interesting to me because other than being able to see your deviation in your backpack or your cradle, the backpack also has a functional purpose, having the Morphic Crate sensor on it. So I wonder if they'll be adding that sensor to the UI if you decide to hide your backpack. They also discussed the mobile version of Once Human. Now you can expect to play Once Human Mobile starting in April 2025 with crossplay and cross progression with the PC version. Now they didn't go into a lot of details about crossplay and cross progression, but they have confirmed in the past that crossplay and cross progression will be coming to the mobile version. Now they're currently working on optimizing the mobile version to run on low-end devices, which is great because I actually haven't been able to play any of the betas and get it to work on my phone, so hopefully when it comes out I'll be able to play it. They also did mention that they are working on a console version of the game, but they didn't confirm any specific consoles or a time frame for that release. And of course, if you're interested in playing the mobile version of the game, definitely pre-register on Apple or Android. I will put those links down in the description below if you are interested. Now, some big news that was announced that I personally was just not expecting is the ability to host custom servers in Once Human. Starry Studio is developing custom server functionality, and it will be releasing 2 iterations of custom servers in the first half of 2025. In the first iteration, they'll be releasing custom servers with the ability to adjust scenario difficulty and some other parameters. In the second iteration, they'll allow players to customize everything from tasks to storylines to enemies to loot. And like I said, this is something I did not expect. I think a lot of players didn't expect it, so I'd love to know your feedback on these custom servers in the comments down below. Are you planning to start your own custom server, or are you just going to stick with the official servers? And here are a few extra things things that they announced. So they'll be adding a guitar into the game, and you'll be able to play it anywhere in the world, unlike the piano. And regarding Eternaland, they will be releasing more building components and features in 2025, such as new escape room building components on January 16th, allowing players to build complex puzzles and escape rooms on their island. These new components include laser sensors, trapdoors, and even enemies that you can place. Also, in March 2025, they'll be adding new components that will allow players to design PvP and PvE shooting mini-games within Eternaland. The developers also said they're working on racing and party components as well for your Eternaland island. And of course, they did confirm that new cosmetics are coming next year as well, including battle cosmetics, Valentine's Day cosmetics, and new architectural cosmetics. They're also working on improvements to lighting and emotes and a potential makeover for V. But there you have it, folks. Those are all of the 2025 plans announced for Once Human during their developer stream. What do you think about their roadmap? I have it on the screen right here. Personally, I would have liked to see one of the new scenarios released earlier in the year, but we'll have to just see if this new Visional wheel system, mobile release, Eternaland updates, and custom servers can hold us over until the new scenarios are released in Q3. Now, of course, if you did enjoy today's video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content. There's obviously a lot more coming, so I'll be making a lot more videos. So if you're interested in Once Human content, definitely hit that sub button so you get notified for when I post a new video. And of course, if I don't see you back on the channel before the new year, I just hope you have a great holiday and a great start to your new year. And thank you so much for supporting me this year. It has been an incredible year for me as a content creator, and I just can't thank you guys enough. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you take care.